I'd love to ask another question.
Please ask any questions. Yeah.
I I feel like performing in music really helped me discover my queerness, and I would experiment with how I dress on stage, and I'd experiment with my makeup on stage, because it's this weird, like, some the audience just accept whatever is being given to them because it's performance, and it's so fascinating how a performance is more palatable than that same person then walking down the street. It's like, yeah, you can perform queer, but living queer isn't as acceptable, and then trying to pull that person that's on the stage into the real life is a really hard thing to do. I'd love to know if anybody else has had that same experience. Lynn.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to work that out at the moment, but I'm expressing myself every day, I think, through my clothes, makeup, a bit less makeup these days for the fact of I'm just, it goes back to the tiredness of doing the marketing stuff and all that kind of thing. But I like to experiment, and I think, yeah, it definitely shouldn't be just for a stage, because that's who you are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to wear glitter and you want to walk down the road with your hair massive, and you just do it.
Yeah, I think a hard thing to accept as well, to be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's actually the truest version of me, and it's not the performance. Like, to bring that in is a really weird thing to accept, and it takes a lot of time. Does anyone else feel that experience as well?
You were talking about wearing multiple hats earlier, and I got to a point, so before working in music became much bigger passion and much more part of my day and my week and my year, the two people that I was Julie, the singer-songwriter, and then Julie, the maybe waitress or person working in retail. And eventually I had my first grown-up job. I loved waitressing and retail as well, but I had my first copywriting job where I was like, this feels grown up. Like, I had to kind of dress a certain way and turn up a certain way. It was an office space. And it was tough anyway, because, music happens at night, your day job happens during the day. It's a lot to juggle. And I found, especially living in London, that a lot of people make their friends through their day job, whereas I was kind of not interested in that because I already had this scene that I was going to meet up with after work. But I found the division between my work life and this other person that I was being, found that really stressful, and internally kind of filled me with a lot of conflict, because I would try to play down this person who I was during the day, but actually during the day I was this person who was really contributing in a workspace, really learning and trying to figure out this kind of like, trying to earn money. You have to ask yourself questions about what your daily needs are, what are you prepared to kind of live without in order to do the music thing, and vice versa. Like, you'll always ask yourself a few times a year, is the music worth it, and should I just be this office person, 365? But like, I reached a point at some point where I just realized that these two people, especially as both of them became more and more queer, they were both the same person, and I could achieve and be so much more and be so much happier allowing myself to embrace both of them. And actually, where those two sides of myself met, kind of the day job and the music, was in all of this label stuff that has now completely taken off and become this umbrella of all these different existences that I have. And I guess it was like learning that queerness infiltrates all of those spaces and all those aspects of myself, rather than just this person on stage. It's so valuable. And I have still got a day job that's not music related, but I turn up to work these days as a queer person. I feel this responsibility, and this really joyful responsibility, to show up as myself, because I think every time you walk out the door you can prove that this is what a queer person can look like, this is what a queer person can sound like. These are all the amazing thoughts and questions and stupid ideas and brilliant ideas that a queer person can bring in to any space. And I called it spread your self-worth around. That was it, because I realized with music being such a you know, you're really waiting for that feedback from people, or the likes or the listens or whatever it is, you know, you want those tickets to sell. And when you put all that emphasis, all that self-esteem in that one bucket, I was just finding that all the other people that I was, you know, who really were me, I felt like shit in all those other times, or a lot of the time I did, and it was really conflicting. So I spent a lot of time with myself just realizing that actually I love all this problem solving that I do at work. And actually when I think about it, it helps me, because I'm a copywriter during the day, it helps me as a marketer in a label or in a band promoting my own shows. Like, I really, both in terms of my professional self and skills, but also as my queerness, or as a queer person, it just was so much better to kind of spread that around. And I build on that every year, and I learn more about myself every year just because of that attitude. But I had to really decide to do that, because it was unsustainable. I was like, why do I feel like I'm just going to work and pretending to be into this? And I was like, deep down, like, I kind of am into this. Like, I kind of like this spreadsheet business. It's like, and then as soon as I accepted that, I was like, maybe this is a queer spreadsheet. Maybe we add some colors. So yeah, I think definitely, like, 100%, and more as, you know, I get older and queerer.
Fabulous.